think a number of us have said safety first. And I look at everything from the safety lens. When the North Valley Jewish Community Center was attacked and people were shot, I showed up. I showed up every single time there was a major incident against Jews, but not just Jews, against blacks, Latinos, everyone. I was a uniter in this town. And I'll tell you, the next governor's got to stand up to hate. When the ADL did stand up against hate, or Jewish hate, I stood up with them. I stood up today and tweeted about that. I donated to the ADL because I saw that there was a rise in anti-Semitism. I supported AB 715 because I saw that we were teaching kids to discriminate and hate Jews and Israel. I've stood up against that my whole life, and I will as governor. I will stand up and be the uniter. I was in this town. This town doesn't just have 40%. We're 70% of color. We come from every corner of the earth, and I brought us together. And as governor, I will bring us together as well. I will stand up against anti-Semitism, racism, homophobia, every kind of hate that exists, because this is a place where
to pick up where you left off, Antonio, I agree. We need to find ways, just as I mentioned earlier, that as Shimon Peres said to me, to have opportunities for people to learn about each other, to diminish the hate, because they're side by side, working together, doing things together. That's all true. But we've got to be strong on this as well. After October the 7th, I went to UCLA with my running mate for Lieutenant Governor, Gloria Romero, and we stood there and we said, this is unacceptable, what is happening here. And these university authorities have to be stronger in the face of the hate that we see. And I think it's completely outrageous. It's outrageous that Barry Weiss has to cancel the Daniel Pearl lecture at UCLA for security reasons. That is completely unacceptable. We have to defend against this stuff strongly. And I gotta tell you, we have to push back against those who are pushing the hate. And they're pushing the hate into our schools through the curriculum. And we have to strongly stand against those like the CTA, I'm afraid I'm going to be very direct about it, who are pushing the kind of hate that is leading to this violence. We have to stand against that. And as governor, I will, stronger than you've ever seen before, because I will not accept this in our state. We've got to get along with each other, and I want to do that in a positive way, but we've got to do it in a strong way as well. And I can promise you that I will.
We'll agree again, Steve. Well done. Doesn't happen at every debate. I'm glad we're aligned on many of these issues. As mayor, when there's hate, discrimination, division in the community, people look to you to show leadership. And every time we've had an act of anti-Semitism, or as Antonio said, act of hate against any community, I show up. The first to denounce it, the first to say we must do better, the first to stand with those who have been victimized. Before I even show up, though, my first call is to our police chief. And in San Jose, we make sure that our officers are there, that they are present. We build relationships ahead of time, and we show strength and unity by being there and standing together and saying, we are better than this. We will not tolerate hate. But as you all have shown through your advocacy, we have to get upstream of it. And it starts in the classroom, that most foundational public institution where we shape the hearts and minds of our young people. And it is completely unacceptable that we have teachers teaching curriculum that just divide children into oppressor and oppressed and say some people's opinions are valid and others are not. This is antithetical to our entire liberal democracy, the Enlightenment, rationalism, everything we stand for and believe in as Americans that's brought people here, and I will stand strong to advocate for better curriculum and
So I want to echo what everyone has said, that it starts with safety, and that safety is obviously starts with physical safety, because it turns out that, you know, somebody went into the Tree of Life synagogue in Pittsburgh and killed a whole bunch of people. So it's not just a theoretical thing, it's a real thing that's happening. And I want to also we need to talk about emotional safety, because the damage that is done to especially kids, but absolutely to adults, by hate and by discrimination is really deep, and it's just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't last for a lifetime. It does last for a lifetime. So I'm absolutely strong on that, and I agree that what people are saying is right and smart and important. But I want to talk about something else which has been traditionally true for the Jewish community, which is this: coalition. When we think about California, it really is diverse. And the Jewish community has been a subject of gigantic amount of discrimination and hate events, and they have to stop. But I also want to say that reaching out to other communities and a broader view of where we're going together is actually the thing that I think will end the whole idea. And I would really want, as governor, to push. Of course we're going to deal with every goddamn incident. Of course we're going to stand up for every kid. But the truth is, let's have a positive way of reaching out for a different vision of what this state stands for. So we're not just dealing with the problems, we're creating the solution in our behavior and our language.
My job is to protect all Californians, and with anti-Semitism on the rise and violence on the rise, that especially includes the Jewish community. The Jewish community in Los Angeles, by the way, is larger than the Jewish community in Jerusalem. This is a large community that is living under fear and anxiety right now. Parents who are making the hard decision to perhaps homeschool their kids because they're afraid of the violence and threats they'll be subjected to. That can't happen on my watch as governor. I'm endorsed, and I'm proud to be endorsed by the California Police Chiefs Association. I will work with them to make sure that we protect the Jewish community. In Congress, I led legislation to increase the nonprofit security grant as it was being stripped out of the budget to pay for the big, brutal bill. I put an amendment on the floor to put it back in. I understand how important this is. But my job is also to be a collaborator. I was taught the Holocaust in my classroom at a public high school in Dublin, California. And the teacher who taught it to me was a political leader in CTA. I'm willing to bring to the table educators and the community to make sure we get this right for our kids. That's the hard job of a governor, is to collaborate, to protect the public, and make sure that the future are better educated. That's why I'm running for governor, and that's the hard job that I'm ready to do.